There are 4 more episodes of Yellowstone remaining, so let's run down the things that have to happen still. This is all from the official Season 5 trailer released prior to the start of Part 2.
This knife, where's my blood?
This knife, where's mine?
We were brothers down.
Kayce and Chief Rainwater make a blood oath. Rip torches Jamie Dutton's SUV. Carter finds trouble. Kayce goes hunting, and Jamie's in big trouble.
I took all the risk, and I took it for you.
And then there's this moment, which fans of our Dutton Rules podcast think they have figured out. Shout out to Lisa, who says Teeter is the one who's on fire. Remember, the Texas Cowboys were warned of wind and fire. I don't know. I think the hair's too long and a little too dark, but she's dressed the part, so we'll see. After episode 10, we talked a little bit about how Teeter seems to be slipping, which makes her more likely to get killed before the series is finished. Link below to that video in theory, but subscribers tell us to be a little bit more like Rip and get to work. So let's get right to episode 11, airing on Paramount Network on November 24th.
Frogman, long time. What's shaking, man?
I got talking black work these days.
You got a problem?
Anyone recognize that actor? Comment below. The character's name is Cade McPherson, and he's an old Navy SEAL friend of Kayce's who's been tasked with figuring out who did the hit on John Dutton. This is the most obvious thing you can expect to happen with episode 11. Kayce will get an answer, and he'll move forward with it because after Beth's conversation with Jamie where he couldn't even look her in the eyes, he's Team Beth. No more, "I'll call you brother until the day you die" from the youngest Dutton. He's seeing red and bringing in big guns, and that's just one set of forces bearing down on Jamie and Sarah Atwood. If you recall, last week's preview video featured a very brief snippet of, here it is. Authorities are soon gonna figure out that John Dutton didn't die by suicide, he was killed. Listen, there's just 4 episodes left here, so it's really kind of time to get moving. I do think the cracks will start to form in Jamie and Sarah's relationship, but we won't get the "I took all the risk" statement for another episode. We could be done seeing Sarah in her underwear, however, which, that's fine, because it was getting a little absurd. Okay, now let's get to the heart of this video, and to do that, I need you to consider 2 possible paths forward for Yellowstone. The first is clean, clear, predictable. Jamie and Sarah plotted to have John Dutton killed by a hitman. The hitman did the job, and whatever comes to them next is deserved. On this road, we'll more or less close out the series with Kayce and Beth chasing down revenge, and then whoever lives will help decide what to do at the ranch. I'll admit, that theory's likely. It's like a 3-point favorite in Vegas, but it contains none of the twists and turns that have made this show so special. Yellowstone has never been tricky. Good guys have always been good guys, bad guys have always been bad guys, but even Jamie Dutton actor Wes Bentley says that he's not sure that his character is really a bad guy.
Anytime he's done anything truly scary to me, he's done in name of the family, like murder being one, but
casual.
It's just something small like that.
So let's run down a second theory that's represented by this comment on one of the many Yellowstone fan groups I frequent. Jamie was unbelievably calm and cold talking to Sarah and Ellis from Market Equities. He told them exactly what they wanted to hear. Could it be that he's laying a trap? Remember, Sarah hired the hitman, but it cost $40 to $50 million, so Market Equities funded it, whether Ellis knows it or not. If you chase down this theory, you see how authorities start to figure out that it was murder, not suicide, that killed John Dutton, and you start to see why Sarah Atwood behaves like she's being hunted. It also sews up what I think to be the biggest plot hole of all time on Yellowstone, and that's that Jamie and Sarah talked about killing Beth by a hitman in episode 8, but she went and hired a hitman to kill John. Jamie went with it, but he was tormented. Remember this?
This was you.
This is what you said that you wanted.
I don't think Beth or Kayce know Jamie's plan under this scenario, but that's going to set up a pretty epic final scene with them trying to kill Jamie as he tries to convince them that he did something right. I keep going back to a Reddit thread from August that found a ticked off neighbor of wherever they shot these scenes saying that he or she knows how the series ends. It's with Beth on a stretcher and Jamie dead inside the house. The show really does seem to be racing towards that finish, doesn't it? The other thing I think we'll see during episode 11 is more from Chief Rainwater, including what he's pledging to do to help the Duttons. He was absent from episode 10, which was kind of upsetting to anyone who loved that subplot. My hot take is that Lainey Wilson's Abby is going to return. If you recall, Beth said she would bring in everyone's significant others if they let her steal Rip for a couple of nights. This is all part of the flashback scenes that frankly confused everyone. Just remember, if it's in Texas and Rip is there, it's a flashback. If he's not, it's probably modern day. Last time a flashback showed Rip and Beth in a hotel room where she dreamed of not being tethered to the Yellowstone ranch. Kayce would more or less tell Tate the same thing, which, if no one wants the ranch, who gets it if Jamie loses this battle? I think the natural conclusion is Chief Rainwater. He's helping the Duttons. Tate is the natural heir to the ranch. It all just feels like how Yellowstone should end, doesn't it? Comment below. I'm Billy Deuce with Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.